Hello, everyone. It's me, Jacob Maggard. Welcome to the Sideline Shenanigans podcast. Today I'm with,
Dalton Phillips.
and today we're going to be going over an analysis of last week's games. And
Whew.
if you follow along on Thursday, we hope to put up game previews for next week. 10 games every week. That's the plan. Uh, Today we're going to start out with unbelievable game, big upset.
I
Just
said
hap-
it. Not winning 8 games, man.
just happened 30 minutes ago, probably from now.
Nice.
Boston College comes out, plays Florida State, and beats them 28-13. I mean, it's unbelievable. As you can see, looking at the stats, Thomas Castellanos here goes 10 for 16, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ goes 21 for 42. That's a 50% completion percentage. 270 yards, touchdown and a pick. The pick he threw was on a fourth down. He was getting sacked, and he just threw the ball.
He just launched it up. Yeah.
I mean, what's your insight on this game?
Uh, put the backup in.
I mean,
DJ he's not a starting quarterback. He's proved it everywhere he's been.
he's looked awful this year. They started the game with 9 straight plays, and it was 3 straight 3-and-outs. They went 3-and-out, gave the ball back to Boston College, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. That's how they started the game tonight. I
You
think
can't win a ball game doing that.
no, and Boston College literally had built a 14-0 lead prior to Florida State even scoring a single point or even getting a first down.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
Florida State.
statistically speaking, Kai Robichaux here, solid game. If you watched that game, Trayshawn Ward, he's transferred from Florida State, looks phenomenal. Trayshawn Ward was running so hard in that game.
He had to beat his last team. He had to mess him up.
Trayshawn Ward receiving 3 receptions, 61 yards, and a touchdown. Played great. Florida State picked it up a little bit in the second half of this game. They started using more of their down the field weapons in Portier and then Ja'Kai Douglas. He also played well in the Georgia Tech game. But that's like Malik Benson's supposed to be one of their best players. He hasn't really had two back-to-back games
No,
where he hasn't been great. Your prediction of them not winning 8 games or winning only 8 games
I'm
is
saying, I'm telling you, I can
it
see
looks
it.
sharp. It looks sharp.
I mean, you got to try something else out. Obviously, he's not doing it for you. So,
Yeah, this
put
ain't
the young guy there.
all right, moving on to the next game. We're gonna cover games that we didn't pick first because there were some surprises. This game was very surprising. As you can see, they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. Prior to the
Yeah.
fourth quarter, NC State was losing to Western
Down. Yeah.
Carolina.
That's scary for them because guess who they get next week, baby?
They have to play Tennessee, but at least it's
Yep.
home. They scored immediately, went up 21-14, I believe. And then, or no, 20, they were up 17-14.
Yep.
And Western Carolina answers back with a touchdown going into the fourth, taking a lead into the fourth. But then, of course, NC State walked away with it. Statistically, Western Carolina, what they did to hang around in this game was their quarterback balled out. Didn't make very many mistakes. 211
No
yards.
interception.
He also
Again.
ran for 75 yards.
That's huge there.
I mean, and then, of course, Grayson McCall, Coastal Carolina transfer for NC State. He played well. His one pick, I mean, you make mistakes in a game, so I'm not like
If you're throwing 40 balls, you're likely to throw one interception.
exactly the odds of you throwing
That's expected. Yeah, that's expected.
And then, of course, look at the running game.
123 yards.
And Jordan Waters, he was a lead back. He looked like a lead back in this game, but it was against Western Carolina.
Yeah, it's against a push-off game, but it didn't look like it.
And then Kevin Concepcion. Oh my gosh, he's gross.
That's dirty.
Kevin Concepcion is the top, in my opinion, a top 5, top 10 maybe receiver in the country. He's really good. He will be their key to winning big time football games this year. Is McCall and Concepcion playing well. This is a
crazy. I don't understand this game at all because I was expecting Oregon to be like, I'm not gonna lie, I could see them like taking the one. I'd see them taking the one spot. I could see them winning the Big Ten. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, same.
I was like putting this like the first year in the Big Ten. I could see them just popping off. But I mean, that's a scary game for them. Only beating Idaho by 10 points. That's not good.
Yeah.
Even though their quarterback he did ball out. Like
no, Dylan Gabriel was amazing.
I mean, if you're completing balls, throw it. But
I mean,
I
as you
like,
can see, Jordan James had a good rushing game.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, he was averaging 6.3 yards per carry.
yeah.
They did run the ball. I mean, that's 37 carries is not a ton, but that is a good amount of carries.
But I'm going to be honest. I'd feed him more if he's getting 15 carries a game and getting 100 yards. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
give him 20, give him 22, 23. I mean, see what he does.
What doesn't make sense is for this game, the score, statistically speaking, looking at the stats, it makes
shouldn't be a
zero
close game.
sense that this was
It
close.
should. I mean, their quarterback having 168 yards with one touchdown and one interception. That doesn't add up. And it looks
The
like the
run game
backup
for
went
them
in. I didn't know the
wasn't
backup went in. He must have threw an interception. I didn't know he went in. But I guess he went in through an interception. But
Yeah, they put him in and threw a pick.
but that's it's weird though, like because Oregon's offense did pretty good. It looks like. I mean,
Statistically, yeah, it looks like a good game.
Yep.
It was a weird football game. Tez Johnson is one of their two big time receivers, and then Evan
12
Stewart.
receptions. He got the ball to him.
Yeah, Tez Johnson, that's getting the playmaker the ball. Yeah,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns. And
Yeah.
then Evan Stewart, only 3 receptions, 15 yards. He's supposed to be their second stud. They probably will try to work to get him the ball more. Yeah, just a weird game. It honestly it scares me off of Oregon just a little bit. I still think they're really good, and
I still think they're really good.
just a slow start game, but just a scary game.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, this is going to start the picks that we made. I started 1-0 here with North Carolina. I picked them to win. Come down to like a last-second kick too. Minnesota's kicker shanked a 46-yard field goal, I believe. I don't remember. But that was pretty crazy because they literally got him down the field set up for a win, and he shanked it.
Yeah, I believed in the Gophers. I was actually tuning into that game, and I was watching the kick. I was like, "This is for mine. This is me."
To start 1-0.
And it just you've seen.
Of course, big news in this game. Max Johnson goes down with an injury. He struggled in the first half. He come out in the second half. His first drive of the second half was pretty solid, but he broke his femur.
That's a scary injury.
He's done.
I don't think football anymore. Maybe not even play football anymore.
Yeah, truly. That's an injury that could take you out of. Yeah, that could take you out of football completely.
Yeah.
It was a pretty scary injury. He had a big injury in his past already, but he's obviously done for the season with that. Connor Harrell is the sophomore young quarterback. He come in, he runs a 4.4. Dude has wheels at quarterback.
30.
And he come in and he kind of looked like, I mean, we talked about this before. Mac Brown had said that they were going to use 2 quarterbacks, but he really didn't use 2 quarterbacks. He only used Connor Harrell because Max Johnson broke his femur. That's the only. Connor Harrell come in and it didn't look like they had an offense for him. It didn't look like the offense was set.
They just weren't revolved around an athletic quarterback like that.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't because Max Johnson's the opposite of that. He's not getting.
Yeah, he's a pocket guy.
He's a pocket passer.
Yeah.
On the other side of Minnesota, Rossmer played all right. I mean, 13 for 21, that's decently accurate. 166, not a ton of passing yards. This was a very defensive game. It was a lot of punting back and forth and just seeing
big field position game.
Who could beat who on the ground.
Yeah.
I mean, the ground game was good for both teams. Of course, Omarion Hampton, we talked about it prior.
One of the best running backs in college football there.
I literally said, I think Omarion can win him a game.
He looks like he did too. He's not scoring a touchdown. I mean, he got 130 yards, but still.
But yeah, Omarion was awesome.
I could see him in 40 carries a game for the rest of the season after losing Max Johnson. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I could Connor Harrell touching the ball all the time.
Exactly, and they could run an offense where I would expect to see some read option type stuff where you
just
can
get the ball, get outside. That's what I would say.
Harrell the ball, and he has to read. Now he's a sophomore, but I think he's going to be a pretty good quarterback. He'll have to read and make a lot of plays, but him and Omarion's going to be a really good rushing attack.
Yeah.
Other notable things: J.J. Jones played well. You would have liked to have seen a couple more receptions by him. Other than that, I mean, there wasn't a lot of receptions in this game. In general,
there's not a crazy game there.
I mean, Carolina had 105 total passing yards. It was literally give it to Omarion and hope he can win us a game.
And he did. Barely, but he did.
Yeah, he did. He got it done, and it was off their kicker shaking a kick. Yeah, he was 1 for 3. He also missed another kick that would have won them that game.
Hold the game.
And Burnett, he's the talking point. 4 for 4, hit a 52-yarder, hit the game winner before the Minnesota drive that the guy shanked the kick. So he was huge. He literally put the team.
He won the game for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
he scored 13 of their 19 points. Move to next week here.
Yeah. That's me.
North Dakota State, Colorado. This was a fun football game, honestly, to watch.
we said it, Travis Hunter was
Yeah.
he's insane.
I
Human
mean,
highlight reel right there. That's Deion Sanders there. I
first
mean,
of
he
all,
is.
statistically, dude, the quarterback from North Dakota State is very good.
Yeah.
Cam Miller he played up to the level to beat them. He had 277 yards in the air, a really, really good completion percentage, 18 for 22, one touchdown in the air, ran for 81 yards, and two touchdowns on the ground.
That's tough.
And he was playing so good. He was so hyped up. Like every time he comes off the field, he was kind of getting the troops together. He was gathering the troops.
And you have to have that as a quarterback leader. When you're playing a big game like that, you have to have that.
Yeah, you have to
have that guy to get everything up. Yeah.
Shedeur played awesome. I mean,
yeah,
26 for 34. That's great. 445. North Dakota State could not guard Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter. I mean, both of them went off.
Yeah.
Jimmy Horn, 7 catches, 198. He put his name on the map as a top receiver in the country with that game because he was good last year, but he looked awesome in that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then Travis Hunter played every snap but 2 in the entire
Which
game.
is insane.
Playing receiver where he was 3 touchdowns, 132, 7 catches, and then playing corner where he was they didn't catch a pass on him. He was
had two elite catches to win the in my opinion.
Locked down. Oh yeah, his touchdown was one of the best.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
It was ridiculous. It's a good win to start the season. Colorado still, to me, doesn't look like they're going to be a super big contender.
They just almost lost to a FCS school, and that's in my opinion.
Even though it's a top FCS school, Shedeur and Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter can win them football games. The passing attack is really, really good, but their O-line still is not good, and they still can't run the ball at all. You're going to run into somebody that has corners that can compete and stop you from passing the ball like that, and then you're done.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a good win to start the year, and it's not like you're playing an FCS school that isn't that's a nobody. You're playing an FCS school that's legit,
the best FCS school,
and they wanted to come in here and win that game.
Yeah.
But Colorado gets a win, start 1-0. Not looking super great for the season if they play like that all year, but if they step up the running games, their offensive line gets a little bit better, they can hang around with some pretty good teams. Georgia Clemson. I mean, this was embarrassing.
Blowout.
Dabo is going to have to figure something out. He
has to get the portal, man.
I mean, they recruit well. Clemson recruits well, but they don't play the portal, and they're losing guys every year in the portal because players are not starting. 5-stars are not starting.
They're gone. They go somewhere that they can play.
And Clemson doesn't add in the portal at all.
Yep.
0. I mean, Georgia, like I said last week, I think they're a 12-0 football team. They looked like a 12-0 football team.
Yeah, playing against a tough opponent and still coming through like that.
Because Clemson's defense still played good in the first half. It was 6-0 at halftime.
They just finally had that breakthrough at halftime.
But then, it was such poor play by the offense that Georgia's offense just took over. I mean, the defense was on the field all the time. Like I said last week, talking about this game, Klubnik, not good. I don't think he's good at all. I don't think Klubnik can be a starting quarterback for this caliber football team. It's not going to work. He's just – I don't know. I don't expect him to be here next year. That's for sure. Maffa, I said to win this game, it was going to have to be the O-line and him. And he didn't play bad, but there was no, once they got down by so much, it was completely impossible to run.
Yeah, you can't run the ball when you're down by 28 points at that point.
And then, Beck, he's consistent, plays pretty much, he's always consistent. He plays great in most games. 278, 2 touchdowns. That's a great game. Nate Frazier picking up for Trevor Etienne because Etienne was suspended for the first game of the season. Nate Frazier played awesome in that game. And, I mean, it shows you that they're going to have a true dual running back attack. They're going to have 2 guys because Etienne is really good as well. London Humphreys was awesome in that game. He had 2 big catches, but the touchdown catch was pretty awesome. He looks like he's going to be really good. Of course, we know they have Delp, who didn't have a reception in this game, who is one of the best tight ends in the entire country. And then Clemson, I mean, Antonio Williams played well. 6 catches, 76 yards. That's pretty much Klubnik's entire passing game was to him.
Yeah.
Defensively, Georgia was they were all over Klubnik.
It's Georgia defense. They're everywhere. Even
though they only finished with 2 sacks, they were in his face a lot, and they were not letting him have a lot of time in the pocket, which obviously that disturbed him, and he wasn't – he had a bad game. To me, I chalk it up as I don't think Clemson's going to be a horrible football team this year. I still think they're going to be a pretty good team.
I think they're going to be a top 25 team, but nothing to talk about towards a playoff picture or anything like that.
Exactly. That's what I think too. I think the ACC is wide open. I think Miami proved they're the best team in the ACC, but I still think it's wide open for that 2 spot. I don't know who that 2 spot can be. It's wide open. Georgia, I think to me, they're no doubt the best team in the country right now from what I've seen. Because I didn't see Oregon play to the level that I thought they could play, and that was
I don't think they performed as a top team.
Yeah, no, especially not last week.
No,
but we'll see what they do this week. I mean, it's proving ground.
Yep.
Next game, Penn State, West Virginia. The hype for West Virginia at home. I really thought they were going to get that done.
I was expecting them to pull that through too. Just like the home field advantage didn't do anything against Penn State.
It didn't help them against Penn State.
Played.
Penn State, they look like they might have an offense this year.
Yeah.
Aller actually played pretty good, which they needed that. They needed that bad because last year he was inconsistent. And when Aller's playing good, they're scary good because Nicholas Singleton is very, very good.
Another Penn State running back that's a stud.
Always good. And their O-line is good.
Yep.
West Virginia, statistically, Garrett Green, he played all right. He didn't get any ground game going, and he's a pretty good scrambling quarterback. They contained him all day. And then
he threw a few completions, sub 60%.
Yeah, and as you can see, running game wasn't there. It just wasn't there. Penn State pretty much dominated this game in every category.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pure domination in this game. Harrison Wallace, phenomenal game. Penn State definitely looks like a top 10 football team after that game.
Yeah, I can see it too.
Next game. This was my upset pick. Obviously, they didn't do it. It was a solid game at halftime. Like, Oklahoma State clearly looked like the better football team, but it was 17-6 at the half. SDSU scored the field goal right before the half. So it was like, okay, maybe they're getting back in it. And then Oklahoma State come out and just blew them away in the third quarter. That was like where they took over and won the football.
They showed them that power 4 football there.
Yeah, they played power 4 football in the third quarter.
Yeah.
South Dakota State, as you can see, passing-wise, I mean, not a bad football game. He wasn't high completion percentage, and he threw a pick. But 264, 2 touchdowns, that's not a bad game. They ran the ball actually pretty well. Both backs had good averages and stuff. It was more like just Oklahoma State was the better team, even though South Dakota State didn't play horrible. Bowman played awesome for Oklahoma State. I mean, 267 and 3 touchdowns. They're pretty good because they have the ability to run the ball. I mean, Ollie Gordon, he played really well, and he's the best running back in the country. Next game, I mean, Miami crushed them.
Yeah, Florida's just not Florida anymore. They went down bad.
I mean, Miami looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Miami's offense was clicking on all cylinders.
Dirty. Best team in the ACC right now. 100%.
Yes. They have by far put themselves as the best team in the ACC right now. Cam Ward, phenomenal game. Take away the pick, and it's basically a perfect game.
Perfect game, yeah.
385, 3 touchdowns. He looked effortless playing the game, too. He looked so effortless. Like there was multiple plays where he rolled out of the pocket. Now, he only had 3 carries, 33 yards, but 2 of them, he rolled out of the pocket, ran for the first down, and then walked out of bounds. It was like it was just another day for him. He looked like he had been here, done that.
Yeah.
Florida, Mertz struggled. As you can see, Lagway come in and played some. Mertz, I thought he was going to be pretty good this year, truthfully, but that was not the case. Mertz struggled, and Lagway, he's young. Obviously, he's a freshman, so I don't expect him to come out and be blazing or nothing off the start. But run game wise, Florida actually ran the ball pretty well. Montrell Johnson, phenomenal game, 11 carries, 106, and a touchdown. He was their offense. That was it. But
nothing else.
Florida turned the ball over 2 times in picks, and that was way too much against this Miami team.
That offense, it's dirty.
And then Restrepo. I mean, look at the game he had: 7 catches, 112, and a touchdown. Phenomenal game from Restrepo.
Yep.
Other than that, I think this is what we both expected. So,
yeah.
Next game. This was a great game. This was close all the way up into the very end. I think Notre Dame put up another field goal at the end to make it a 10-point game. I think we both had A&M here.
Yes, I was expecting the home field advantage, the 12th man to play a bigger role, but I mean,
but that was one of those games where, like, I thought both football teams were really good.
Yep.
I still think both teams are good. I just think that Notre Dame is clearly better because Connor Wegman is not. He had a really bad game.
Yeah, he's 2 interceptions. You can't do that against a good football team like Notre Dame.
Especially, yeah, you can't give them the ball more than they
No,
already have it.
because Riley Leonard's good. I mean, he didn't play great, but he did what he was needed to do.
Yeah, if you in that game, Leonard wasn't like phenomenal. He actually ran the ball pretty well. 12
He
carries.
just he made plays when he needed to. That was the thing.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Like
like
a
he had
third
a
down.
crazy passing game,
Yeah,
but he looked like the guy that can win you football games at a pretty high
yeah.
level. So, Texas A&M, not a lot to talk about, really. It was a good defensive game. They played good on defense, but
Yep.
the offense was pretty bad. And Wegman he was really bad that game. He struggled a lot in this game. He was a lot of underthrows, and then of course the 2 picks. Wegman does not look like a guy that can lead them to be very good in the SEC. So I guess we'll see what they figure out there with the quarterback situation.
Yeah.
Next game, super fun game on Sunday night. Super fun. Both
Yes,
teams
great.
both teams looked really good.
Yep.
Obviously it was in Vegas. There was no home field advantage for either side. It was very loud for both sets of fans.
Yep.
I mean, they both have good fan bases, so that helps. I mean, the stats speak for themselves. Both quarterbacks played great.
Both passing for over 300 yards.
Yeah, and this pick that Nussmeier had it was with 8 seconds left on the clock, and he was just throwing a ball.
It was just trying to throw the ball up. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was no picks. Both of them managed the game beautifully. It was perfectly executed football from both quarterbacks. I mean, the score wasn't super high, so the defenses still competed and contained both quarterbacks. But I mean, Miller Moss, the drive he had to win the game at the end, he looked like he was there last year doing it. He looked awesome leading that drive to win the football game. I mean, Nussmeier, I said before, I thought Nussmeier was going to be a pretty good quarterback.
He played better than I thought he was going to do. I wasn't expecting him to be that great of a quarterback, but
yeah, and he played good, man. And John Emery was awesome for LSU on the ground. I would honestly like to see him get more carries in this.
Yeah, 10 carries. That's I mean, that's not it's not a good amount of carries. I mean, if he gets 20, maybe he rushes for 100 that game.
Yeah, and it could be a different story. But again, you don't want to take the ball out of your quarterback's hand when he's
if he's throwing for 300 yards a game, I mean, give him the length of the ball.
Yeah. I mean, again, this was just a good football. I think both of these teams are good teams. I think both of these teams have chances to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad loss at all for LSU because USC, like I said, I thought they were underrated coming into this game. So I easily could have saw either team winning this game.
I could see it both ways. Me picking LSU, I just did that because the SEC
I thought LSU would win, but
they were going to pull that thunder, but they didn't have any. So I mean, they played good, but they just didn't have enough to compete.
Kyron Lacy is a definite bright spot for LSU. He played really well. Of course, you have the lightning bolt that is Zachariah Branch for USC. Unbelievable speed. And then Kyron Hudson was their leading receiver. He played really well in that game. Other than that, I mean, it was just a really good football game. It was a fun game, and it ended with some drama with them driving down the field and winning it.
Yep.
Next game, obviously, depressing
for you.
Depressing. I was there, watched every second of it. Here's what I'll say: it's one of those games where like we come out, like I said last week in the video. I said we're going to come out slow, and we come out,
and y'all did
unbelievably slow. I mean, it was so slow. It was the game. It was like they were managing the game, like they had a lead the whole first half. It was running the ball, throwing screens, keeping short routes, and it didn't look like they had a game plan to take the top off against Vanderbilt, who has.
You can't do that against an SEC team. It doesn't matter which.
No matter who
SEC team. No.
And Vanderbilt had last season 2 of the worst corners in football, and we didn't take the top off enough in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, statistically speaking, Drones played great. His one pick was on a screen where a D lineman popped it up in the air, and another D lineman called it. So, pick. It was one of those things where I wasn't mad at Drones. It's just unlucky. The run game, we didn't have it because they were selling out for the run.
Yeah. I mean, you have Toot in the backfield, and he's a stud. I mean, I would do
He's
it too.
great. Him to have 9 for 34. If you watch that game, he was getting hit in the backfield consistently.
He
And
had to break a
yards.
lot of tackles to get that 4 yards.
Their side of the ball.
Yeah.
Diego Pavia is a beast.
He showed what he can do. I
Yeah,
mean,
Diego Pavia. I said this coming into
yeah,
this game. What I say, rushing quarterbacks always scare me.
yeah, they
He
do.
ran for 104 yards. He was their offense.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah,
ran through
he
Pavia.
made plays. He got first
Consistently.
downs when they shouldn't.
He was
Yeah.
making plays left and right in this game.
Yeah.
All I can say is I think there's still a lot of potential with Texas football team. I'm hoping this is kind of like a wake-up call. They fumbled the ball, and we just didn't have any recoveries. That was pretty unfortunate. We didn't have a ton of luck go our way that game, but it was also one of those games where we just didn't show up. We didn't show up in the first half.
You have to do that. I mean, any game you have
Exactly.
to, especially
And that's what lost us the game.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to next week. I think they can pick it up, and they have to.
I mean, guys, I'm just saying, we looked good. Nico played great. It got me excited for the season. I don't quite see him at Heisman, like looking towards a Heisman yet, but I mean, I'm hoping I could see like another Peyton in him, like just hopefully. Hey, Hendon Hooker maybe. He's got the attributes, and he obviously showed out, but it was against Chattanooga. But I mean, we can always hope, man. Dylan Sampson played great too. 124 yards on 12 carries and 3 TDs. I mean, he played like a stud. I mean, had a couple breakaway runs. And, I mean, we just obviously dominated. It was Chattanooga, but I'm excited for next week, NC State. So
yeah,
that's a big game. That's a proven point for us. See if Nico can actually play. I mean, Brew McCoy, always been a stud for us. I mean, he's played for us for like 5 years. I mean, he's a senior, but he's always been there. I mean,
Squirrel didn't have to have a crazy game.
Squirrel didn't have to have that crazy game. I mean, he's obviously a stud. I mean, but if you don't have to give him the ball and you can win games, don't give him the ball. I mean,
your hope is obviously against Chattanooga that you can get your studs out of there quick.
I mean, because Thornton is not a normal like stud for us. He doesn't usually get 100 yards a game. I mean, it's a great game for him. I'm hoping he chose. I mean, having three elite receivers. That's a great way to start the season.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah. I mean, 4 great receivers. I mean, Brazel didn't play bad either. I mean, had 60 yards. I mean, that's still a good game.
But yeah, I mean, looking at the game, they obviously completely dominated.
Yeah, I mean, obviously. I mean, it was Chattanooga. But
I mean, 69-3 is
69 points. That's great. I mean, amazing.
and on top of that, it was a game where they, like I said, 38.5 point spread coming into it.
And they beat it. I mean, they had that by halftime. Nico broke this. I mean, that made me excited because, I mean, that he went out and showed what he was in the first half. I mean, he broke the school passing yard for a half in his first actual game. I mean, that's impressive, in my opinion. I'm hopeful for the rest of the season. But I'm a Tennessee fan. I expect something to happen. Like, I mean, 2 years ago, 2022, I was expecting a playoff run, but look what happened. I mean, I don't want to jinx it now, but something always happens. I mean,
I think a lot of what happened there was some bad luck too with the injury.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Hendon tearing his ACL, that really screwed us because he was he might be Nico might be another Hendon, which I'm hoping for because I loved watching him play.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, he was a Tech, but I mean, look who he played at. Look who he showed out for.
He did not play with us, but Justin Fuente, man.
Yeah. I'm excited for the rest of the season, man.
I mean, a reason to be.
Yeah, that's a great way to start it, even though it was a cupcake.
All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We had a lot of fun shooting this one.
Yeah.
Expect weekly recaps. Probably going to be Mondays and Tuesdays, depending on when we can film and when we can get out some videos. But with next week going to no Monday, no Sunday game, we should be able to get a video out on Monday for a recap.
Monday.
Yeah. But
And then another video on Thursday, maybe.
Plan is to do a video on Thursday. We should be doing our game previews and
we might be together. We might be together then. Maybe.
We might be able to produce a video in person.
Yeah.
Might have us a little presentation for that one.
Yeah.
But both of us finished with 5-5 records for the week on our picks. Not the best week, but not the worst. At least not starting out
negative. Right there in the middle. We can improve.
And I'm hoping that this week both of us can take a step forward on that.
Yeah. I would like to do better than that.
And we've got some interesting matchups this week, so.
A couple big games, but is that it for us? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's it, brother. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you don't mind leaving a like on the video, subscribing, that's going to help
Yep.
blow the channel up.
Trying to grow a little bit.
Hopefully, we start getting some more viewers. But yeah, I appreciate everybody that's in here right now, and
Thank y'all.
we'll see you guys on Thursday.